Alright, so this is my last video of the night. This has to do with Bob Arum. Once again, like I said before, I love talking about these particular topics because, you know, the future is about progressing, right? Leave the past in the past. That's what they say. Everyone knows that Bob Arum and Al Haymon, they've had a feud for the longest time. A lot of people like to say it started when the whole Mayweather shit happened, and Mayweather left Bob Arum for Haymon, and Haymon, basically took him out of a situation that seemed like he could never get out of, which he did the same thing with Andy Ruiz. So if y'all don't know, so basically what I'm getting at, which everyone in the boxing community, if you are a hardcore boxing fan, you know Bob Arum and Al Haymon don't get along. Well, this is coming from BoxingScene.com, and this is associated with Terence Crawford as well. Bob Arum and Al Haymon to make more fights in 2020 after Wilder and Fury. So you're saying, how does this have to do with Terence Crawford? I'll get into that. So Bob Arum has called Al Haymon a cancer to the sport of boxing in the past, and even said he encourages PBC fighters like Errol Spence Jr. not to work with white promoters. That was in, and with the February 22nd rematch between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury being the now, Bob Arum has changed his position about the longtime rival. So this is a direct quote from Bob Arum. I can predict that with no uncertainty that Wilder Fury 2 will be one of a number of fights Top Rank and PBC will be doing together, some on ESPN, some on Fox, and others on pay-per-view. I think that is absolutely the case. Everything changes in boxing, everything changes in life. There's now peace among promoters. We have no problems working with PBC. You're dealing with professionals. But the press paints a different picture. When PBC had all the money from hedge funds, their policy was not to deal with anybody. That's long since passed. So Bob Arum is basically saying that the press manipulated us, which the press usually does, and painted a picture between Bob Arum and Al Haymon that was untrue. Whether that is true or not, I cannot say because I do not know. But he's basically saying all the money from the hedge fund has either been paid back or has been dealt with, or there's no more debt when it comes to PBC, or maybe someone bought their debt, which means that the policy, which he says is the reason why he wasn't working with Bob Arum, or they weren't working with each other, because there was a policy under PBC being from the money from these hedge funders that they cannot deal with anybody else, right? So that's basically saying that this had nothing to do with me and Al Haymon. Whoever Al Haymon got the money from to start PBC, that is who you should blame, because they had a policy where he could only deal within PBC, right? That's what he's saying. But it's interesting he's saying this too, because there's been reports as well that PBC is thinking about creating their own belt. PBC is thinking about having their own division within PBC. But what does that mean? A lot of people also said PBC was supposed to be sold by now. A lot of people said they were supposed to be working alongside the UFC, Zuffa Inc., things like that. And that did not pan out. And it looks like it never will pan out, because Zuffa Inc. seems to be starting their own thing when it comes to Sparta boxing. But I may be wrong about that. But excuse me. I believe Bob Arum when it comes to this. I do think we're going to have more Bob Arum and Al Haymon fights together. Why? Terence Crawford, welterweight division. That is the simple and most monumental, essential. I don't know if I already said that, but that's the most important fact right there. Terence Crawford. That's why. And I don't think it has anything to do with. All right, let me take that back. I think it does have to do somewhat with this hedge fund situation, but I think that situation has been over with. Maybe I'll say the beginning of this year, possibly, because I think the move to Fox with the PBC now doing the pay-per-view, Showtime doing the pay-per-view, all that involved, things like that. It seems like they're doing good. It seems like the money problems is doing better. That's just from an eye test. So none of this is going based off of facts. So many y'all know that right now. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is it seems like more of a Bob Arum saying, look, I have a guy in Terence Crawford that I feel like should be a megastar. I feel like he's better than everyone you have. Unfortunately, PBC, this comes from Bob Arum's perspective, this is my opinion. Unfortunately, PBC has all of the names when it comes to the welterweight division. So it doesn't matter who Crawford fights and beats over in, the Top Rank, alum, or, the Top Rank promotional team in that welterweight division. No one will respect Terence Crawford the same way they might respect Errol Spence, because Errol Spence has guys like Shawn Porter to fight, Danny Garcia. He'd even come across that Adrian Broner. Manny Pacquiao's floating around there, Keith Thurman. So these guys are all respected more than everyone in the welterweight division not named Terence Crawford. And some of these guys' names are actually respected more because they don't know who Terence Crawford is, because he fights for a Bob Arum and Top Rank ESPN. I'm like, that stigma between Bob Arum and Al Heyman not working together, that goes farther than just the promotional companies. That even goes down to racial division. You know what I'm saying? Everybody and their mama knows there's blacks that won't watch Terence Crawford because they feel like they signed to Bob Arum, which is what would you like they're betraying their people by not being with Al Heyman, when that's just bullshit. It has nothing to do with that. It's business, it's money. It has nothing to do with emotional shit. But what I'm getting at is, because of that, there's no regard for Crawford and his skills simply because of the promotional company he's on. Whether it's to his fault, whether it's to Bob Arum's fault, I don't think it's anybody's fault but the sport of boxing. That's how the sport of boxing is. That's how, and they're seeing the UFC thrive the way they're thriving because everyone's fighting each other. It's all one within each other. You know what I'm saying? Now that can't happen in boxing because you have, basically 4 different entities at the least when you're in that major position that you have to deal with. So everyone's not going to deal with each other. But if you can get the biggest named guys to fight each other in these promotional companies, everyone doesn't have to fight each other, but the biggest named guys to do it, then you know what I'm saying, you're doing something. So basically my whole point was saying that the reason why I believe Bob Arum is really the man behind trying to make all this shit work between him and Al Heyman is because he has Crawford, and he knows in order to establish Crawford as that megastar he wants him to be, he has to fight some of the guys over in the PBC stable, and one of those guys is Shawn Porter. They said they're trying to make the Shawn Porter fight. Originally they were trying to make the Earl Spence fight happen really hard for 2020, but with this situation they're not sure if they're going to go through with that, but it looks like they're going to really be gunning for the Shawn Porter fight. Terence Crawford said himself, this is what he says, it has nothing to do with the promoters or the promotions. We both got to sit down and agree, and we have to sign the paper. But obviously it does have to do with the promotion as well. But I do think there's a big possibility we see Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter next year. I don't know why, man, but I feel it in my soul. What do you guys think about all this? I want to know your guys' opinion. You already know.